I am Jimmy Evans, and this is Barbershop Therapy. We cut through the problems.
What's going on, good people? I am Jamar Allen,
I am Jimmy Evans.
and this is Barbershop Therapy. What Barbershop Therapy is, man?
Barbershop Therapy is a safe space for men to have a conversation, to be themselves and talk about typical problems that they don't have anyone to vent to.
It's a good place to be. We've been missing for a while. Made some great adjustments, as you can see. We made some great adjustments, but we got some beautiful things coming up for you. What we got coming up over the next?
Well, we are going to continue from our first 4 sessions.
Yes.
And we're going to have part 2 with Jay
Jerkins.
with Kima,
Miss Kima, my favorite person.
Miss Kima Shaw.
Yeah.
And then we're going to lead off with Demetrius in the insurance again. Oh
Yeah.
man, that was like a favorite.
Finances. And man, I think that's the one I'm most excited about. I think I said that last time, that the finances and the insurance opened some great doors for my family.
Yeah,
And my sister
absolutely.
and them.
I mean,
Made
that's
some good connections with that.
conversations that we never have.
We never have.
And then last but not least, we're going to also catch up with our resident doctor,
Yes.
the Miles.
Slight cold, summer cold. All right. This might be a little random. I ain't gonna say it might be. It is a little random. Did you know my kids didn't learn the states in school? Did you learn the state song? The Washington, Oregon, California.
No, we just looked at a map and pointed to stuff.
But you learned the states.
I can't say that either.
Okay, so apparently I'm the only one that went to school and learned the song that taught me each state in the United States of America.
Random tip.
Random tip. All right, so we are fortunate enough to have some great committed fans.
Absolutely.
And a few of y'all had some questions from some of the things, and then we have a couple questions from general topics. So before we get into some guests, we wanted to answer some personal questions that a few people sent in, and a few people asked why they were sitting in barber chairs or when they bumped into me at Chick-fil-A.
Man, I'm curious to hear this.
So the first one is a really, really good topic. Should there be a mental health evaluation before you get married to your partner?
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
That's good. Okay, so is this included in the premarital therapy or counseling sessions, or apart from it?
I'm gonna assume that it's apart from it. So before the way the questions form is more so before you get to the point of a serious commitment, do you then revisit that? Like, is it something that you bring up before you get to rings and things? Do you get to it early on, or do you think that's something you do closer to premarital, which is how it was posed?
Yeah, I think you should definitely do it along with the premarital side, right? Because if you even get to the point where you're about to get married, there are going to be things that you don't know about your partner, right?
Absolutely.
And so if you're talking about a psychological evaluation, okay, so let's do the whole thing.
Would you be offended if somebody asked you?
Nah, because you got to think, people have triggers or they have traumas that they've been through that they don't even know they had triggers and traumas about.
How do you even present it though? I mean, that's the thing, like, because we talk about the foundation of this platform you created was because
those are hard conversations.
Yeah.
Right? So with it being a hard conversation, it's always got to be coming from a place of respect and love, and not of, man, you crazy than a mother.
Yeah, right.
Let me get you a
But that's how most people gonna take it though. But if I look back, so I've been married twice and divorced. Yeah. So those were, if I had gotten mental health evaluations before either of those, even just in general, like dating, I definitely, for one, wouldn't have even started dating. Like I would have healed from childhood traumas. I wouldn't even have been dating at the time.
So I think this question
I've
is
been
very
taking-
adequate though.
Yeah.
Because the older version of yourself
Yeah,
says, I would definitely do this, right?
absolutely.
But the younger version
If
of
you'd asked me at 25, I'd been like,
man,
bye.
you'd have been mad at the world.
On to the next.
Because whatever trauma is going to come out right then.
Yep, you're right. That's the question alone. The question of going to get any type of mental health evaluation is a trigger. It's probably going to be a trigger for.
I ain't crazy.
Crazy. Yep.
Yeah. That might trigger that response.
There's gonna be more. There's gonna be more than a trigger. I can tell you that.
But no, I truly think if you are in a committed relationship and you understand and are mature enough to see the benefit in it, then you'll look at it from a different lens.
Yeah, for sure. So much more growth will come from that. You learn more about yourself. You can definitely be a more effective and a beneficial partner. So
and see that right there in itself, it really just brought something forward for me. It's not for your partner, so to speak. It's for you.
For you, absolutely.
Right. So now, if I'm going through these, for the lack of a better word, an assessment, a mental health assessment, to see where the things in my past that I have not explored that cause me grief or trauma or triggers. Once I learn this thing, now my partner also has the information. And if they have the information now, they're informed to say yes or no, I would like to go forward with this, or hey, maybe we both need to work on, or if they feel it, have to say, you need to work on some things before we get together. And you have to be able to take it in a responsible manner and not look at it as an attack.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, even if you give people that option, if you're willing to work on it, then absolutely, somebody will stick around. I'll tell you one thing. I've been watching the Johnny Depp defamation trial. Have you seen any of that?
I've heard about it. I haven't seen any.
I've watched that, and I was like, man, like you realize, like, no matter how much money you got, no matter how much status you have, toxicity is toxicity. And if you are two unhealthy people, whether you're passive, whether you're aggressive, it's just going to be.
It's always an unhealthy relationship.
It's going to be dynamite.
And that is across the board, especially like even in Caucasian relationships versus African American relationships. At least they will attempt to seek out some of that help to get them
for sure
over the hump. We've always looked at it as, hey man, if I go and tell somebody all my business, then I'm exposed for one, but I'm also, I ain't crazy. I don't need no help.
And what's weird is even with one of my part-time jobs, they offer 12 free sessions. Like, it's just like they offer 12 free sessions of therapy, whether it's relationship, like marital or premarital, or it's just one-on-one. 12. Like,
but guess what?
12 sessions.
Once they do something like that, what is that investment into their employees? What does that do for them?
Yep, it's a healthy environment.
It's a health. I
more
know
productive.
For one, I know people that I may need to, give a little more attention to.
Absolutely.
And I understand. Hey, okay, they're engaged. To help themselves. So something does arise, it's already on the books, man.
Likely to give a little more grace too. Good question.
Good question.
That was a good question.
We definitely have to dig into that.
Shout out to the Chick-fil-A lady who asked me. All right, as a single.
Are we getting paid from Chick-fil-A?
No. Chris can edit that.
Okay.
Boop. You look like, all right. So, as a single mom, how does barbers and others in the community contribute to young men's development coming from a single mom parent home?
Oh wow, that's an.
How do you do it? Because I know one thing I've noticed about you here at headquarters is the door opening and
it's planting seeds.
Planting seeds.
For me, it's planting seeds. It's like, fertile ground is where things are gonna grow. If you cultivate it, if you water it, you plant a seed. My seeds are chivalry. You open the door for your mom when you come in. You open your door for your mom when you leave. hopefully that seed get planted later on
For sure.
when you go home and it happens there.
For sure.
But it's got to start. And I see a lot of moms come in doing the best that they can,
Right.
but they have not been shown themselves what a man should do or how to raise a man. You know, so first starting with how you talk to your parents.
Yeah.
You know, you have moments in here, moms are actively having an argument with a child.
There's these debates.
It's hey, I want a haircut. No, mom, I'm not going to do this. Wait, time out. First of all, what you're not going to do in here is speak to her in that manner.
Right.
In here or out of here, because if I find out, then there's another conversation. I'm not the father, but they don't know my level of grace that I'm willing or not willing to give. But moms, they already know they can argue back and forth with at times, and dads.
Have you ever had a parent be non-receptive to that? Because I know a lot of times I work in like youth ministries or just dealing with community youth period, a lot of people don't want their kid corrected.
Absolutely.
But we'll complain about the end result. You know, like if there's a really bad situation where somebody gets incarcerated or something like that, of course they want all this strong black men to come.
You would have said, I would have listened to the things you said when he was 6.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what it boils back down to. You know, I go to church, I believe in God, and it says, and somewhere in the Bible, I'm not a Bible scholar, that, the way you rear a child, if you raise him right, he'll come back to it, right?
Yeah.
So don't quote me on that where it came from and everything, but
it's like, oh man, I should know, huh? And I'm about to mix 2 scriptures together, so I'm just gonna hush and let you keep going.
Okay, so in that vein, a lot of people have not been shown how they've not been reared properly themselves, right? And so we're teaching only what we've been taught, especially being a single mom. Nobody told you how to raise a boy as a single mom, and that's the biggest thing. So when I encounter certain things with moms, like discipline problems, the first reaction is to parent out anger. I'm sick of dealing with you doing these things. You know better. If they knew better, they would do better.
Yeah.
Right? And so I equate it again to raising a kid from the first grade. He doesn't graduate from high school in the first grade. It's a continuous learning.
Absolutely.
But we parent our kids like, I need you to be perfect. If I tell you to do this one time.
Parenting from the wrong perspective. We're parenting from a 35, 40-year-old perspective.
Because I know what to do.
Expecting them to know what to do at that age. That's a good analogy.
But yeah, at the end of the day, parenting is the roughest thing or one of the most difficult jobs you're gonna come into.
For sure.
But there are no good manuals. There's only experience, and I think the older you get, the more you need to understand that we're not parenting just to raise perfect kids, but we're giving them the experience and the tools to become functioning adults.
Yeah. With their own identity.
And that allows them to make mistakes, right? And in those mistakes, it shouldn't always be the rod is the first thing you pick up. Sometimes you just got to understand and let your kids have their emotions respectfully. And that's teaching your kid to communicate.
Yeah.
Like I think back on myself with my oldest son. I was the first one to say, I don't mind spanking my kid. But then the older he got, the more I saw, that's just making him dislike me.
Yeah.
Or,
building
afraid
up
of me.
a strong level of resentment.
Yeah.
You want respect and love and empathy versus that.
That's the other side of
violence.
The equation. You got to teach your kid, hey, if you do something wrong, let's understand why you did it wrong.
Sure.
Let's see if you're going to learn the lesson, how you going to apply it the next time. If you can't apply it.
And then a lot of this stuff is like, it's wrong in my house. Now, once you turn 18 to 20 or at your mama house or something like that, it's, it may be fair game, but here,
there are rules.
you know, there's a
What's the
rules.
commercial? The pizza commercial, where the dude took off his shirt and said, "There are no rules."
You seen that commercial?
The guy in the background said, "Put your shirt back on." There are rules.
I thought it wasn't no rules until somebody spoke up. But nah, so yeah, that's how it is. And I think you got to learn to adjust to certain climates too, and that's a huge part of it. I didn't have that luxury. Sometimes I didn't always get it was kind of your way, but my mom didn't whoop us a lot. Like we didn't get a lot of whooping, but we had to maintain this level of integrity at all times. And sometimes I felt like we were cheated out of a childhood. But I look back, and when people speak about me and my sister, it's like, they were some of the most respectful kids, and that's what you want in kids. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's absolutely what you want to raise, and respect to our parents is different from what respect from where we come up. Like,
especially when it comes to questioning.
Yeah,
like you can't ask no questions.
You couldn't ask a question. It's like, if I question you, then I'm talking back. Versus I'm getting new information.
Yep.
And I think that's where what we're doing here is just talking about those instances that can change, just tweak your mentality. I'm not looking to change people's whole idea on parenting,
right?
But give you an alternate thought at times,
another perspective.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a good question. Yeah.
Speaking of parenting,
who said that question?
A single mom.
Okay, just anonymous.
I'm not gonna say her name.
Okay.
Because we don't have clearance. Here we go. We got a couple more questions from y'all. Is love enough, or do you consider finances and business when considering long-term relationships? Is that love enough? Because you know what I immediately think about is, I don't know the exact number right now, but there's a number, and it's pretty high in regards to the divorce rate of how many people get divorced behind finances.
Yeah.
So when in looking to get married and looking for a life partner, like I immediately wanted somebody who was great at balancing finances, because I can bring it in and stable, because I can bring it in, but man, I'm impulsive at times. You know what I'm saying? I don't always make the wise decisions. So I made sure that, my partner was much, much, much better in that. Now, that wasn't a conscious thought when I met her, but looking back, we kind of complement that. So knowing what you know now, let's go back a few years. Would you just marry? Is love enough? Do you think love is enough, or do you got to have that numbers talk? Are you asking what her credit score is?
I think that's a valid question at some point. Not necessarily out the gate, but that also feeds into.
So what if you fall in love with a 420, Jimmy?
Well, then you're gonna have to be willing to break it up to a 830. That's a choice. If you know, then you made a choice.
And what if you the 420? She like, I love him, but boy, he can't even use cash, boy. His credit score.
Then she now has information, and she got a choice to make. As far as the question is concerned, is love enough? I don't think love is enough. I think you have to have another level of this Jimmy. 25 years ago, I'm falling over. It don't matter. We gonna work it out. I'll help. Look, 30-year-old Jimmy, nah, I ain't helping. If I ain't create that debt, I ain't gonna pay for it.
Say, well, what you gonna do?
50-year-old Jimmy, hey man, let's really have some deep-rooted conversation. Let's have that psychological evaluation.
Let's be friends.
No, but let's find out.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if we don't have a conversation and we don't know, there could be circumstances behind that 420. They might have had a bankruptcy because of, car accident. They couldn't work for 6 months.
Or it could have been in a previously, and I've learned this, it could have been in a domestic violence relationship where their finances were controlled.
Absolutely.
And of course, if I'm not gonna ruin my credit, I'll ruin my victim's credit. I've seen that a million times.
That's true. That is
on both
true.
ends. So
That's an absolute good question. That's another topic we can definitely dig into with Kima.
Kima,
And
that may be good for Kima and Jay.
Yeah, because it's gonna help. It's gonna walk hand in hand.
And
Kima is our resident
counselor, therapist,
and Jay is our resident lawyer. So
we got resident people.
Yeah, so we're gonna have resources.
We coming up. We ain't just talking. Couple more questions. Oh, personal question, Mr. Jimmy Evans. Building a business and building forever. Is it hard dating as a business owner? For me, being an entrepreneur, it's a bit of a challenge. How do you balance such?
Oh man, that is a absolute ridiculous question to ask because that's so loaded.
Yeah.
Right. So being an entrepreneur, we have a different mindset. A lot of us are dreamers and we want to elevate as much whenever we can. And dating someone that has a 9-to-5, has set schedules, has a standard paycheck, got benefits, may not see things the way that you see things, right? And it is a challenge if a person is not willing to grasp the challenges as an entrepreneur. Vacation time. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to create your own vacation package.
As an entrepreneur, you're like, what's that?
Right.
Sometimes it's like,
because you work all the time.
Vacation.
Like me, I'm a sweat equity worker. Every dollar that I make comes from my labor. Yeah. And so when you try to explain that at times, a person might say, well, I want to go and do these things. If I take 10 days off of work, that's 10 days I'm not making money. If I take 10 days off of work, that's 10 days I'm spending money. So I'm not getting hit just from the time off or just the time or the money that we're spending on vacation. Yeah. So I'm getting hit twice.
Facts.
And then when you start having that conversation, then it's like, it's hard for people to put that into context when it's never happening to you. It's almost like, I don't know.
Can't relate. Like you just
racism.
Detached. There we go.
Like racism.
Perfect.
If you're not affected by it, it's never a problem until it touches you.
Like the people who say, I ain't never had a problem with a cop. Versus the people who
have problems every day. Yeah. Good question though. That's something I think a lot of other entrepreneurs will probably want to dig into as well.
Yeah. Well, this question says a girl I know dated my homeboy shortly in high school. It was only like a month, but we're in our 40s now. Is she fair game or not? Him and the friend are still cool. My understanding, not best friends. Not like.
Are they associates or are they friends?
Associates would probably be more appropriate.
Okay.
But what would be the difference in the guy code and in your book? What would be the difference if you guys are associates and friends? Which one?
I think friends. You gotta honor the bro code. If this dude ever professed his love for her, which I don't think you can do in a month.
In ninth grade.
In high school, and that was 20, well, some people 20 years, but 25 years ago.
I say, geez. Was it 25?
Yeah, middle.
Think about it.
But high school freshman, right?
High school freshman.
So, I think for me, if he's an associate, then there's nothing wrong with that dude dating. But if it's his boy that he hang out with on a regular, still now, then it's a conversation. It's a grown man conversation between the two of them as well. Where you at on that?
I don't know. I just think it's off limits either way. I just think it's too many people. Unless it's like undeniable love, like y'all just like.
So why should that 20 years ago get in the way of now?
I mean, because you're right. It happens every day. Like you're liable to be kicking it with somebody and you don't know that they know whoever you're with now.
that
I
dated
go to an
somebody.
event and be like, oh yeah, I'm like, yeah, we dated in middle school or something.
Oh
You know,
man,
what?
that happens all the time.
Bro, I'm not gonna tell that story. Yes, I am. So I saw this dude I went to school with, and he looked at me and once he found out who my wife was, and he was like, yeah, you know, she was my first girlfriend. I was like, you real brave to say that, you know. But at the time, it was just like, you don't think about, like, that didn't bother me. Like,
Yeah.
that didn't bother me at all, even if it's just a ex like that. Now, a few years ago, before I started getting into some therapy and becoming more secure as a man and just understanding things, stuff like that really bothered me. Like, you know,
course.
exes and different things like that. But yeah, now that wouldn't bother you.
I'm glad you mentioned that
Head
part
start.
though, because insecurity plays a lot in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you were to run across and meet somebody that one of your boys met years ago,
Mm-hmm.
if they haven't been in contact, if they haven't, you know, been, you know, trying to rekindle anything, man, that you can't. I can't see me stopping for that reason.
Open season.
That's
Open season.
open season is the word.
Well, that was our first quick return home to barbershop therapy. We hope y'all enjoyed it. This episode is sponsored by a beautiful website called Barbers Connect, and I'm gonna let Jimmy tell us what Barbers Connect is, how important it is, and this is actually the byproduct. Barbershop therapy is a byproduct of Barbers Connect, and it's really something really dope that you've created. And
Yeah.
go ahead and let the good people know.
Yeah, so Barbers Connect is a website and platform developed for barbers, stylists, people in the hair industry to post their jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the last 25 years, that's always been a challenge for me, is to find good help. When I started working as a owner,
Mm-hmm.
and even when I was looking for jobs, you know, it was always word of mouth. It was constantly, you know, beating the
I
pavement.
was gonna say put the footwork in, the gradually going shop
you
to
know,
shop.
and it rarely yielded a good result.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, over this last 4 years, I've just been kind of digging into a little research, and the more that I found out that we don't have a lot of platforms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have the Indeeds, you have the Monsters, you have the different job platforms, but ours is so underutilized and underserved that I was like, man, because every time I would look for a barber on one of those sites, all I saw was, you know, the larger chain barbershops. So we got mom and pops.
Yeah, for
You
sure,
know,
yeah.
a 3-chair, a 6-chair, maybe you got 2 shops. But when you start looking at the chains, you have Great Clips, Supercuts, the Guy's Place, all of these
Fantastic Sam.
Fantastic
Okay.
Sam's.
I saw that and I was like, is that a
Yeah, and most of those places are not barbershops, they're salons, right? And so the more I dug into it, you know, and like North Carolina has well over almost 2,000 barbershops in North Carolina, if not more. Those are just, you know, numbers I'm throwing out.
That's a lot of fees.
That's a lot of haircuts, but at the same time, that's a lot of jobs.
Right, for sure.
And as barbers, we don't even think about the financial ramifications of not filling a chair. For every chair typically that's not being filled, you're missing out on about $9,000 to $10,000 a year. So imagine if you got 3 chairs unfilled, that's a whole salary.
Sheesh.
So the idea behind Barbers Connect is to connect barber schools, barber shops, and barbers that are maybe moving in from out of town. And there is a full platform that posts all of the jobs that are available in your area. It's geo-tracked. You know, we have advertising opportunities for sponsors. We're trying to be the all-encompassing AARP for barbers, so to speak.
I'm not gonna make an AARP joke.
I mean, I'm old, so that's my reference point. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how people respond to it, because it's something that helps us move our industry back to a professional stage.
So how does that tie into what we're doing now at Barbershop Therapy?
So it connects the barbershops together. It helps create that network, right? And so with barbershop therapy, all of us as barbers and owners have this same ability to sit down and connect with our clients, and it's happening all over the country.
Yeah.
That's the part I love about my job is the ability to connect and build relationships that I otherwise would not have been able to do in other professions. And so, yeah, with barbershop therapy and Barbers Connect, excuse me, with Barbers Connection, it both hinges on network and building that community back. You know, with Barbers Connection, that is my way of giving back to the industry to help us build ourselves back into that you know, collared shirt mentality.
So so how does it work? Is there a sign up fee? Is there a season pass like Carol?
Okay.
Like
So
what
good
we
question. Good question. So there is a monthly fee to actually post your jobs. But once we release our launch party, which is going to be June 27th, 2022.
We got cooked clean.
And come in details for everybody to come and attend. We're going to give a number of packages away for an extended period of time for just showing up to the event and signing up on the website.
Gotcha.
So for all the barbershops that show up, there's going to be a special offer for those that show up. And then to further answer your question, we are going to have graduated packages. You know, you're going to go from the lower package to the, you know, whatever the upper package is as we present and figure out what the needs of the community is.
That's dope. So if we're talking about it a lot, if they want to hop up there and either promote, you know, run their sponsored ad, or if they want to get up there and look for a job, like where do they go? What's the website?
The website is barbersconnection.com. barbersconnection.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and you can subscribe actually to the website. And so we would love to capture the information of different barbershops and barbers. Like I said, it's an all-encompassing thing where the barbers actually, you know, get to see all of the openings in their area. And if you're traveling, you want to, you know, make a few bucks, or
versus Ubering.
Yeah, if you're moving to a different location, now you can look in different states, because we want to take this thing, you know, nationwide at some point, hopefully globally. But we want to start the grassroots right here in North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, and make it available to as many barbers who need this service, as many barbershops and barber schools signing up their students, so their students can actually build almost like an online resume. We're considering a profile, but we don't do that in our industry. We don't hold job fairs. We don't do those types of things. But I want to, you know, move us towards a different way of hiring and a more professional standard.
That's dope, man.
So
that's dope. Beautiful thing. We want to thank you, good people. We want to thank Mr. Jimmy for this beautiful platform. Next week we're gonna introduce some other people. We're gonna have other guests, but we do have so we hear the people. We do have a female certified, licensed, some kind of therapist that's going to be coming, and is going to be a consistent host off and on to give a female's perspective and a professional opinion.
And she's an author.
And a spoken word artist, and she's been featured on a couple of my projects. So if you just, you know, happen to be on Apple or any digital platform, just type in Jamar Allen, and you'll be able to, you know, find her. Her name's Marisha Mathis. We're excited to have her on.
Absolutely.
Great. Good friend of mine. Great heart for the community. Great heart for the community. Great perspective. So, any last closing words?
Yes. I just want people to be more thoughtful in your conversation and your ability to communicate. That is one of the primary things that, you know, with barbershop therapy, I want people to understand communication is a key factor. And we have so much to learn about how to deal with one another in interpersonal relationships. This is the focus. It's in business, it's in personal, it's in, friends, whatever the case may be, but communicate out of a different space other than anger. That's my word for today.
That's it. Move in peace, extend grace. Again, I am Jamar Allen.
I'm Jimmy Evans.
And this is Barbershop Therapy.
We cut through the problems.
That's a wrap.
Can we cut through the noise? Talk about the pain. 'Cause our problems are